Good day. In the following presentation, we will explain how to make sentences with the following topics in the simple past, present perfect, and future using will, shall, to and enough, and adverbs of manner. We continue the foreign sentences in the simple past. It must be composed of a subject and verb and past verb. More complement. The subject I, you, he, she, it, we, you, and they. The verb past verb. The verb in the past verb can be regular or irregular. Affirmative sentences, negative sentences, and interrogative sentences. We continue the regular verbs. From the regular verbs, from we need to add ed to the infinitive form. For example, to watch. The regular verbs is watched, to talk, talked, to wash, washed, and irregular verbs. The past form of the irregular verbs forms do not end in ed. They have different forms and we need to learn them gradually. For example, be is was, were, go is went, have is had, cat is cow. We continue to form affirmative sentences are formed by subject, more verb in past verb, more complement. For example, I is subject, paint is past in past form. The base form of paint is paint. More complement, my house last weekend. Next example, he always walked to school. It rained all night. We listened music until 10 o'clock last night. They worked together for many years. We continue the form negative sentences are formed by subject, more auxiliary, more verb, base form, more complement. The negative sentences they make just didn't and did not and the base form of a verb. For example, the subject is I, you, he, she, it, we, and they. The auxiliary is did not. In contraction, didn't. The more base form is like. In affirmative sentences, the verb is past form. In negative sentences, is base form. The example, I didn't like yesterday menu at the restaurant. You didn't work very hard last week. We didn't walk to school. She didn't like to sit in the sun. It didn't play last night. We didn't give her a gift in her birthday. They didn't buy their home last year. The form correct is right. Did. Uh, the correct is didn't go to the movies last night. The form incorrect, I didn't went to the movies last night. The verb is in base verb, no is a past verb. We continue the interrogative sentences to ask questions about the past, use did, and the base form of a verb. By compulsion, the interrogative sentences is auxiliary, more subject, more verb in base form, more complement. Before the subject, the did, for example, did I, did you, did he, did she, did it, did we, and did they. More base form, the I did listen to music. To music is complement. Did you work very hard last week? The did is before the subject and finish the interrogative. The did she watch TV last night? Did it play? Did we listen to music until 10 o'clock last night? Did we learn how to swim 2 years ago? In interrogative sentences, the verb is in base form and no is in past. Now we move on to the next topic. Um, the present perfect tense is for action that take place in the past and relate to the present. Uh, how we learn how to structure an affirmative sentences in present perfect. By compulsion is subject, more have or has, more verb in past participle, more complement. For example, I have, you have, she has, it has, we have, and they have. Uh, only he, she, and it is has. Uh, I, you, we, and they is have. The verb is in past participle, not in past on base form. Is past participle and more complement. For example, I have played that game before. I don't like it. You have given up hope. He has come from New Zealand. She has killed him. It has rained a lot this week. I have met them. We continued with the structure of negative sentences in the present perfect. The negative sentences by composite subject more have not, has not, more verb in past participle, more complement. For, for, for example, I have not played the game before. I don't like it. You have not given up hope. She has not come from New Zealand. She has not killed him. It has not rained a lot this week. We have not met them. They have not improved the service. The difference is have not in negative sentences. We continue with the structure interrogative sentences. Uh, in sentences, before the subject is have, is have, eh, more subject, more verb in past participle, more complement, and interrogative. For example, have I played the game before? Have you worked for your uncle? Yes. The only he, she, and it is has. I, you, we, and they is have. We continue the present perfect connect the past with the present. Uh, use just the show that an action is recently complete. The structure is subject, more have or has, more just, more verb in past participle, more complement. For example, I is subject, have is structure, just one question. I have just one question. Jen has just made a cake. Would you like some? Have you just bought a new car? In a sentence, we is subject, have is the present perfect, the just above is verb in past participle, and you have is complement. Use jet to mean up to know. The jet is placed at the end of each sentence. The structure is subject, more has or has, have or has, more verb in past participle, more, more complement, more jet. The, the jet is the end of each sentence. For example, I am still looking for a house. I haven't found anything like yet. We can't celebrate yet. We haven't archived the boat yet. We haven't arrived yet. We continue with use already in present tenses, in sentences that indicate that an action has already been performed. The structure is subject, more had or has, more already, verb in past participle, more complement. For example, I have already done my homework. We has already a famous actor when he was 14. The boy has already made new friends. The use for or signs for actions that start in the past and have continued up to now. Use for length of time. Use signs point when the action starts. We use how long for questions. For example, I have worked for my uncle since June. We have loved each other since 1999. She has been absent since 12 months. I have not seen her for a month. I have not smoked a cigarette for 10 years. We continue the topic in the simple past versus present perfect. What difference is the simple past happened at a specific time in the past and is a finished action. The present perfect will finish action that start in the past and continue to the present. Uh, Other difference is a finished action in someone's life when the person is dead. In present perfect, a finished action in someone's alive when the person is still alive experience. A finished action with no result in the present. A difference the perfect present perfect. A finished action with a result in the present. In simple past with a finished time were last week, last month, or yesterday. In present perfect with a finish shell time word this week, this month, or today. Now we move on the next topic. Well, we learn how to structure in an affirmative sentences in future using will. The future also will when you decide to the sometime at the time of speaking. You can use will or want, a base form to talk about the future. The simple future tenses in affirmative sentences. The structure is subject, more will, more base form of the verb, more complement. For example, the subject I, you, he, she, it, we, or they. More will. Will is the more base for a verb. The verb, for example, is call. More complement, back tomorrow. I will call tomorrow. We continue with negative sentences. The structure is the subject, more will, not, is in negative sentences is want, more base form of verb, more complement. The subject, I, you, he, she, it, we, and they. In negative, not is will, is want. The base form of verb, not is past, no past participle is base form of verb, more complement. For example, I won't call back tomorrow. She won't call back tomorrow. We won't call back tomorrow. We continue negative sentences. In negative sentences, before will the subject, for example, will, more subject, I, you, he, she, it, we have they, more base form of verb, this is call, more complement and interrogative. For example, will she call back tomorrow? Will you call back tomorrow? Or will they call back tomorrow? We continue with shall. You can use shall alone to express further advice. For example, you shall visit the Empire State Building next week. It's great. He shall pay more attention to what the teachers say. We shall try to finish her projects on time. We shall feel better later. The next topic is about to and enough. The two we use to mean more than sufficient, more, less than necessary. To más adjective, it's too late to stop him. Jerry was too young to watch the movie. The too many, more, countable, no. For example, there are too many people on this train. There's no here to sit. Next, too too much, more, uncount, no. For example, you have too much money. Give some to me. For example, you have eaten too many of those cakes. In the verb more, too much. For example, he complains too much. He has such a negative attitude. The difference "enough" is we use "enough" to mean sufficient. Adjective more enough is, for example, your clothes are big enough to fit me. The verb more enough is you have done enough work. You can stop now. Enough more no, countable or uncountable. For example, have you got enough money to buy me a drink? We use enough in negative sentences necessary. For example, you are not working fast enough. You won't finish on time. Sorry, I haven't got enough fuel for everyone. Next, no, not enough of my friends are coming to the party. The next topic is about adverbs of manner. Adverbs of manner describe how things happen. They are usually formed by adding "ing" at the end of the adjective. Sometimes there are changes in spelling. Else is elsewhere. Handling, handling is the adjective ends in "ing." We use the phrase in a way, friendly, in a friendly way, still, in a silly way. Some adverbs have the same form as the adjectives hard, late, fast, early, or much, and little or the stray. Thanks for attention.